What's good, guys? This is Johnny Manziel, and you're listening to the Sleeper Wire podcast.
I'm ready for all today. You are the day.
Welcome, everybody, to Sleepers. It's Thursday. We're getting closer and closer to Turkey Day. It's going to be a nice show. We got a great show. We got not the professor here. I know it's a little weird for me to not, you guys don't hear the professor on the show. It's Hoos, obviously. You guys know the Prophet Hoos. And I've got got Rob Clutch with me. What are they calling you these days, Rob? You've got all these kind of new fancy names. You were producer, Rob, when I first known you in these beginning of the season. Now, I don't know. You're a fancy guy these days. Now you're Clutch Rob. Who are you, Rob? No.
My name is Rob Rose. I come from many places, many things. Chris gave me the name Rob Clutch because I stepped up clutch for the team this year. So
yes, you have.
That's always fun.
Yes,
but,
you have.
Really, you can call me whatever you want. I answer to about anything. So hey,
that sounds nice.
Fuck it.
Let's
talk some fantasy football.
Sexy. Calling you whenever you want. I like that. And we got Greg on the show. You guys may know him as Dynasty Mechanic on Twitter. He's a great follow. Greg, how the heck are you? Great to have you on the show. Maybe a new mainstay. We'll see how you do. How's it going, Greg?
It's going pretty well. How are you guys doing?
It's awesome, man. We're talking football. We're watching football. We're talking football. You guys are going to be listening to this on a Friday or Saturday or on a Sunday if you just, you didn't get around to us yet. You got a long list of stuff going on plus podcast listing. But quick question, you guys, I got a quick question for you guys. Chris likes to throw these in here. So who's your favorite player right now? You compare him to like a nice Thanksgiving dish. Who's your favorite guy? Greg, let's start with you.
Oh, okay. I see how it is. For me, one of my favorite players is Scary Terry McLaren.
Ooh, okay.
Love that guy. Compare him to a food, though, it's kind of hard. It's not that scary. It's not big and intimidating, but it's just a name. But if I had to say what he would be like, I'd say he's savory. I'd say he's almost like turkey, It's just delicious, meaty, just gets the job done, and you can have it, and then you take a nice nap knowing that you're safe and secure.
Turkey, man. I don't know, man. Turkey, there's some love and some hate about turkey. Explain to me your Scary Terry turkey, why it's so savory, because turkey is pretty bland. Now, I know you got your people that they're professional turkey cookers. They're in the backyard, maybe they're deep frying it, or they're slapping the skin up, they're basting it, they're doing all this special stuff to the turkey. So is that what type of savory turkey?
Yes.
Scary Terry you're talking about? Because there's some bland turkeys out there.
And that's a shame. No, my wife's a expert cook, and so when she makes mostly pretty much anything, I'm just drooling, and it's so savory and delicious. So I'm spoiled when it comes down to it.
That sounds, man, I'm so jealous. Rob, what's your favorite? I'm getting hungry, man. Is it next week yet?
It's not. It's still this Thursday, and I'm surprised nobody jumped on the easy. Scary Terry really gobbles the ball up.
Yeah, that was a nice layup. He set that up for you.
Yeah,
Greg's a nice guy.
He's walked right in the door with that and handed it to you on a platter like I want to receive my player, Christian McCaffrey, like a big pile of stuffing, man. He just fills your fantasy team up with points. Goes off. He goes with everything. The passing game, the running game, the blocking game. This guy is literally Mr. Everything, and stuffing is that for me. in a Thanksgiving dish. Like, if there's not a piece of stuffing on my fork with a bite of everything I eat, I am disappointed. So I want Christian McCaffrey on every team and stuffing in every bite.
Can we give a moment of silence for that beautiful bite we just had of stuffing with everything on it? The gravy just... Oh, God. All right, I got to go on to mine. I was starting to fall into slumber with the turkey and the stuffing and all this other stuff. I got some mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is one of my favorite dishes. I usually like to mix it up each year. Like to throw in some maybe lobster. Like to maybe put in some veggie mac and cheese sometimes. I like to do different things with it. But mac and cheese, it's got a different guy. It's not your normal love, but he's a new love of mine. You guys know I love these obscure players, Chris Thompson, James White. You guys know I love these guys. And it's Patrick Laird. Who? You're yelling out right now? Patrick Laird, yes, Miami Dolphins, guy from out of California. He's about 6 foot. He's like a Christian McCaffrey light, He's out. He caught 6 passes last week. And he's facing a team this week that's also gave up 6 passes and a touchdown, and Cleveland Browns. So could have a decent matchup in a deeper league. And yeah, I'm crushing on this guy a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So he's a nice little piece right now. He's a nice little side dish for me. We got a good show, though, for you guys. You guys are nice and hungry by now. We could go on and on. This could be a show by itself. And if you listen to Break from the Grind, they've had specials like this as well. But we got to get to some news. So Sean McVay, he says Brandon Cooks continues to be on track for play Monday. You believe this guy? Brandon Cooks. Can we see Brandon Cooks? And do we care if Brandon Cooks is back? Rob, kick it to you first.
I'm not this week. Absolutely not. I think the Rams are going to have a hard time getting stuff going against the Ravens defense Monday Night Football. They've been just swallowing people up, putting a lot of pressure, and that secondary takes away passing routes. So I'm not necessarily excited this week, and I'm going to have to see Brandon Cooks do it before I have any faith to put him back in my lineup.
Greg?
That's fair. That's fair. I can't blame you for that. But part of me feels like whenever one of the 3 receivers are out, Cooper Kupp and Brandon Cooks and sorry, I'm on a brain fart right now, but the last one, Robert Woods.
Yeah.
When one of them out, I feel like the team doesn't do as well. But when all 3 of them in a game, it's really hard to scheme against them and Sean McVay. So I feel like he might do something or he might not. So I feel like I agree with you in a sense that you can't trust him. But there's a part of the back of my head going, but I kind of want to try.
So basically, in short, you're saying if you have to use him, you obviously you want to try, throw him in your lineup.
Yep.
And if not, he's definitely helping the rest of the receivers. We got Robert Woods.
Yep.
Looks like he's going to be back this week. Cooper Kupp hasn't had, as much consistent games. Granted, that was due to a lot of his matchups. We saw this coming. A lot of us alluded to it earlier in weeks. We talked about possibly trading him away and getting whatever you can. Not whatever, but everything you can for him. Because I was able to even get, and I think I brag about this on every show because it's one of my finer trades. And even though Steve made fun of me yesterday for it, I would say I gave away Cooper Kupp, and I think it was like Aaron Jones or something like that for Christian McCaffrey. And he's like, "Oh, you just gave away the number 3 running back with the number 3 wide receiver. That's nothing." And I was like, "Look, man, when I'm consolidating." That's kind of what I'm going for, So I thought at the time it was good. It was a lot before the 40-point games. So I could see it. So it's good for the rest of the wide receivers is what we need to know. So James Conner and Deontay Johnson, they're questionable for Sunday. Juju's also looking iffy, but he is expected to play. He's got a knee injury, but he's still in concussion protocol. So optimism there. What are you guys thinking?
No.
And did we? I actually feel like I might have heard that he might be out. So I know we wrote this earlier.
I think you might have misread that note because I believe he is not expected to play in this upcoming week. James Conner and Deontay Johnson are questionable, but I think Juju is listed as either doubtful or out.
You are
but
correct.
I have no faith he's playing. Nor, if he were playing, would I have faith enough in him to put him in my lineup with Mason Rudolph at the helm.
Yep.
So, Greg, what does this mean for the rest of the players that are there? I mean, you're a dynasty guy. Talk to me about the obscure players that we don't even know of that might come out and score 5-6 points. And, I mean, what else do they have, other than Deontay is on track to play?
Yep, he's practicing in full. I'm reading that from Roto World right now. That would be same teammate that Mason Rudolph had at Oklahoma State.
James Washington.
Yes. The deep threat, kind of reminds me of Martavis Bryant. Not as fast, but that just kind of big body deep threat. Hasn't done much this year. The Deontay Johnson has been the deep threat from what I've seen. So that would be one body that he did. I think a couple weeks ago, if I remember correctly. Who I was pretty excited for this year with AB going away, and all people were drafting him in the second round in dynasty drafts and third round in that range. So that's somebody I'd be keeping an eyeball out for. James Conner, I feel like they probably should sit him because he had that shoulder injury and they re-aggravated that. So I think they'll sit him and just go ahead and roll with the backups, which I also have. Samuels, yep.
Snell,
and the other one, Edmonds. Yeah, they'll just do a committee back, I'm pretty sure. But ultimately, with Rudolph there, it's really capping everybody and what they're going to do. So it's hard to say that they're going to get much at all, in my opinion. Rudolph, if he has all time and day in the world, then great, he's going to produce some points. But if he doesn't, he's pitiful at best.
Greg, talk to me. Give me about 20 seconds on Mason Rudolph as far as the dynasty aspect.
Sell. Right now is the best time to sell him because right now he's starting. He's useful. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are out. I just sold him in a league for a late second-round pick.
Oof, nice. Beautiful.
12-team PPR, Superflex.
Nice.
It's Superflex. Obviously, if you own him in Superflex, you're going to sell him. If it's not Superflex, then he's not even worth being owned.
You're stuck, you're saying. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you holding him, though, or are you just dropping him and maybe picking up another backup just because you feel like you're not going to start him?
And Superflex, I would – depends on how deep the rosters are. I'd try to stash him, hold on to him if you can't sell him for second and a third if you can. But at this point, it depends on where you're at. Like if you're trying to rebuild, get all the picks you can get. Sell for low, that's fine.
Tis the season, basically.
Tis the season, yes. Because right now the picks are at the lowest point valued are right now. You buy all the picks now. Draft time comes around, their value skyrockets because everybody wants to draft that special upcoming rookie that everybody wants. I'm guilty of that. I have so many times sold the farm going, oh, this guy's going to be so great. Monty Ball. I was like, oh, that guy's going to be great. And now I'm like, oh, that was horrible.
Oh, Monte Ball. Haven't heard that name in such a long time. Or what? Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that a lot of hype around him. Speaking of hype, the Browns are activating David Njoku off from IR. Do you care about this? I know there was a lot of hype at the beginning of the season. What are you thinking about this, Rob? Do we care?
No, I'm not particularly jumping on that one either. Like David Njoku has all the talent in the world, but that Browns offense been inconsistent at best. And frankly, I feel like there's other young tight ends out there that are worth more looks than David Njoku at this point. In redraft, I mean, I hope you listened to us the last couple of weeks and picked up Ryan Griffin. I think he's a great play for the rest of the season, going into your playoffs with Sam Darnold. But I just don't have a lot of faith. Like, again, David Njoku's somebody that's got to show me before I trust him, and I'm not going to go pick him up and stash him when we're getting ready to go into the playoffs. I think there's people I'd rather have, handcuffs I'd rather have for running backs. If I want to roll with two quarterbacks, if I don't have all the faith in the world in Sam Darnold, which I personally am on the fence about myself. So David Njoku just doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry. It's
Greg?
not my bay.
Don't disagree in the slightest.
I think we said enough about David Njoku. Tyreek Hill's hamstring from last week was considered to be minor. He's day-to-day, and he has a real chance of not missing any time. So it's nice, but at the same time, something we're going to monitor. You know, you're monitoring. If we had to guess right now, would you think he's going to miss a game or two?
I'd say that their bye week came at the perfect opportunity for him just to take a chill pill, relax, not put too much. Problem with hamstrings is they're not as
They could
quick.
linger.
They linger. That's the main problem. So you have them, you're going to start them. It's just one of those things where it's how effective is he going to be?
This poor Chiefs team, right? I mean, not for a lot of teams that are in the divisions. They're like, what the heck are you saying? But yeah, this team has not been healthy all year. You know, it's always been something with this team now. They're down Damian Williams. It seemed like their whole team almost got injured, you know, and now they're dealing with this. Yeah, as you said, alluded to, bye week couldn't come at a better time. But yeah, we're going to keep an eye on this. He could be still having this hamstring linger. Mark Walton cut. Do we have anything to say about this? He got legal issues. This guy's always had. He was arrested like 3 times last offseason, and now he's had another legal issue of domestic violence, I believe.
Battery of a pregnant woman. I don't think he'll be allowed
Oh my God, yeah.
I don't think he'll be free long enough to play in the NFL next season, unfortunately for him. It looks like he's probably going to get prosecuted for that one.
Yeah, even more reason to love some mac and cheese this week and for the rest of the season. All right, we're going to jump into a little fun segment. Well, you guys let us know if it's fun or not. Hit us up on Twitter or say, don't do that anymore. It was trash. I didn't come up with this anyway. Blame Chris if it's trash, okay? Don't blame Hoos. Just come to me and say, hey, Hoos, Professor Chris is trash at making notes. And I'm probably going to defend him because that's my bae, but I'll give you his direct message information so you can yell at him.
Well, at least if I get thrown under the bus ever, I know who did it. Good Lord.
That's great.
All right, man. Playoffs around the corner, and it's that time to think about grabbing handcuffs if you haven't already and picking up playoff defenses or playoff streaming quarterbacks. So running backs are the ones we're going to touch first, and it's a crazy name we didn't think we'd be talking about. We touched them yesterday or today, depending on when you listen to yesterday's show or today's show. I'm getting confused. David Johnson. He's RB18, but he's splitting time with Kenyon Drake. We got Chase Edmonds possibly coming back. It's a 3-headed mess. And the team's starting to kind of throw a little bit more. So what are we thinking? Are we dropping him? Is he droppable? Greg? Redraft, obviously.
Yes, redraft, obviously. It's so painful.
Right.
Like, I have him in a redraft league, and I'm holding on tight to him, but I also have other options. I picked up Drake, for instance. He did have an injury, and maybe he's getting healthy again, so maybe it was just a couple-game fluke, but he also has not looked the same, David Johnson, that we all know and love. Personally, if you can find better options out there, yeah, go ahead and drop them, but I doubt you're going to.
Well, we talked about, okay, so Who would you rather have, David Johnson or Patrick Laird? As gross as that sounds, for this week,
That's ridiculous.
who are you starting?
David Johnson.
I gotta go with him, David Johnson.
Okay, David Johnson or Jordan Howard?
Ooh.
If Jordan Howard actually plays,
I believe he
I would
practiced.
probably. I'd probably start Jordan Howard if he's playing over David Johnson, but
Adrian Peterson,
yeah.
Yeah.
LaShawn McCoy.
In his bye week. In his bye week, bro.
Yes, absolutely. Why is this even in the notes?
Okay, so that just tells you what we need to know about David Johnson, apparently. Okay, and this is a redraft, guy. So as much as some of us are like, what? You're listening to the show, it's like, you can't drop David Johnson. We talked about this yesterday in quite a bit of length because it's David Johnson. He's a first rounder for a lot of us. You're supposed to run, the team's supposed to run, 100 plays or something? Not 100 plays, so 70-something plays a game or something. And all this hype and glory, and now you might be dropping him for other guys on the drop list. Our next drop guy is Jordan Howard. Are you dropping Jordan Howard, Greg?
No, not so he gets injured. Miles Sanders is looking great and eating more of his workload as we speak, but he's still goal line back. He's still going, and Philadelphia has always done committee since Peterson showed up, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so there's no reason to drop him. If he's your running back 2 or 3, you're starting him. Personally, I would start him. I have in on my dynasty leagues in my running back 3, I think, and I see no point in dropping him.
Does Jay Ajayi scare you at all, Who's
that? Who?
He doesn't. Who? No knees. No knees. That's who. No knees. Yeah, I'm with both of you guys. He doesn't scare me. And with the news of him practicing this week, and I don't think I would have dropped him even if he wasn't practicing this week. Miles Sanders, we expected him to get run last week. It didn't really happen, at least not in the way we had it. Also, it was the Patriots, so we weren't expecting too much, but it would have been nice to see him a little bit more unleashed. It kind of didn't happen. He almost caught a touchdown. It didn't happen. So it didn't happen. So we're going to go on to Adrian Peterson. Is he droppable now that Geis is back?
I don't think you're ever going to see a time this season where Darius Geis takes the whole workload. I think they're still going to be a little gun shy with giving him a full workload, like a workhorse load, because of the injury history. So, yeah, they want to see what they have in him for next year, but I think they're going to still use Adrian Peterson at least 8 to 10 touches a game to continue to give Darius Geis enough of a break to recover.
I do agree with you, but what about towards the end of the season now? I guess we don't care about this too much. Jonathan Williams scores a touchdown from 13 yards out. I guess we don't care about this too much, but towards the end of the season, do you see, and I say we don't care because we're not playing fantasy anymore, towards the end of the season, do you see guys getting run? And we want to see what guys can do. He should not be having any lingering injury issues at that point. They should kind of unleash him, and we just kind of see Adrian take a back seat at that point.
I don't think that they're going to take the entire workload for Geis at any point this season. I think you'll see that next year, but given his injury history, I mean, the man played 2 plays and got injured?
Yep.
Like twice?
Correct.
Like, that's insane. You know what I mean? That's not a good look.
I agree. They're not going to win games this year. I do agree with your point of view, though. Like, I could see it, but I think they're just going to stick it out with Peterson, feed him the rock, and spell him with Geis, which is kind of weird to say. But yeah, I agree.
All right, yeah, so the next guy we were dropping David Johnson for was LaShawn McCoy, who's next on our drop list. LaShawn McCoy, Are we dropping LaShawn? My answer is no, because he's in such an amazing offense. And he actually looked good last week.
Yeah, this is the first one that I'm actually a strong hold on, because you don't know who's going to be healthy in that Chiefs backfield.
Right.
And if at any given week it's LaShawn McCoy taking the lead role, he's good for, at least 50 yards and a touchdown. It's pretty much going to be your floor with him. So I'm definitely interested in that high-powered Chiefs offense. And if you have Damian Williams, that makes it even better. Those two are great to handcuff each other with right now.
Yep.
We're going to jump into wide receivers now. Wide receivers, I feel like wide receivers are definitely a lot more, I'm dropping this guy. Yeah, I'm dropping that guy. Because you got your studs. At this point, you know who you're counting on. Running backs, not so much. You're going to grab those backups. David Johnson could be a backup. You know what I mean? If you got Kenyon Drake, like Greg has Kenyon Drake, he's probably not dropping David Johnson because he has Kenyon Drake. So it's funny enough to say that he could be a backup, but who knows if David Johnson's backup? You're not dropping him. You're picking him up if David Johnson was out there. Larry Fitzgerald. Are we dropping Larry Fitzgerald for David Johnson?
9.
No? David Johnson's out there. So we just dropped. So Greg just dropped. We're all in the same league. Greg just dropped David Johnson. You're not dropping Larry Fitzgerald to pick up David Johnson?
See, when I see somebody like David Johnson, somebody that's got name recognition like that, I see Zoidberg doing Admiral Akbar from Star Wars going, "It's a trap!" So no, I'm not picking up David Johnson.
Good answer.
And dropping Larry Fitzgerald, who just scored a touchdown last game, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he's
been
49ers team.
I mean, they're integrating other guys, other younger guys, right? So, no, here's your answer. Greg, what's your answer? Are we dropping Larry Fitzgerald?
No, I agree. I'm going back to Zoidberg here. I'm just going to, away, I'm good.
He's a flex, at the very least. Right?
Again,
these are not my notes, guys. So don't be mad at me when you're, what are you asking? Yell at Chris, but he's my bae, so I'm going to fight for him. So I'm going to throw him under the bus and give him some kisses on his boo-boos. Terry McLaurin. Are we dropping Terry McLaurin? Scary Terry. We talked about him earlier.
No.
Don't do that.
Mm-mm.
He's wide receiver 1 on his team. You don't drop those kind of players.
I agree.
Yes, it is the Redskins. Don't get me wrong, but granted, this is my favorite player this year because I fell in love with him. But right now, I'm starting him in one of my redraft leagues. He's my third wide receiver I'm starting. Granted, I also have Keenan Allen and Tyreek Hill on a bye, but if one of those other players get down, I feel comfortable starting him, knowing I'm probably at 12 points. He's a good floor, good safe player. He'll probably catch 3, maybe 5 passes for some odd yards, maybe a touchdown. So that's good, safe value for a flex spot.
So Terry is giving you TTD, as I like to call him, Terry Touchdown. He's giving you those nice googly eyes, and he's, hello, is it me you're looking for? And you're looking back, and you're like, yeah, babe, just get a little bit closer over here, Terry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. How we feel about Robbie Anderson, guys? Are we dropping Robbie Anderson?
It really sucks to say that, man. I really hate, because I was robbed for Robbie 2019, gung-ho up until the week 10 where he just still hadn't fucking done it, man. He just hasn't put it all together except for one 92-yard touchdown. Dag nabbit, man. Come on, Robbie.
Oh, Robbie. Why? Why, Robbie? Why'd you hurt us? You hurt us.
Right here. In the heart.
We don't know if we can ever recuperate. We're ever going to be the same. You're dropping Robbie Anderson, unfortunately. It pains me to say.
If you still have him on your team, I am very surprised.
Yeah, they're all listening to us. I'm like, what? Robbie Anderson? I dropped him 3 weeks ago. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's unfortunate. We love Robbie Anderson here at Sleeper Wire. We do. I don't know, not one person that hates him. It's probably my fault. It's probably my fault. I was big advocate.
He's a Temple guy.
Yeah, you watch him on tape, and when he just looks good when you're looking at the film, but I don't know. It's not happening this year. DD though. DD Westbrook. How are we feeling about DD Westbrook? Are we dropping him? He seems to love DJ Shark. I won't do the song. Because Greg will do it. So DD, how do we feel about DD? Are we dropping him? I'm going to say no.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to, but it's not because I love Didi's opportunities. I mean, he was supposed to be Nick Foles' go-to guy, and obviously DJ Chark has taken over that playmaker role, and Chris Conley's still going to get a share of the targets as well. He's somebody that Nick Foles wanted to bring to that team. So I don't know that there's anybody out there that I want to pick up that's on the waiver wire right now that I would get rid of DD for. But if one of these names that was on the list dropped, I would definitely pick up Terry McLaurin. I would definitely pick up Larry Fitzgerald over DD Westbrook.
So in a deeper league, because he's a deeper league guy, he's wide receiver 59. You're definitely holding, and like a 10, 12 team league, safe to drop him. Fair to say?
Yeah, that's
for like one of these other guys, a backup. We're in the backup again, as we alluded before, in the beginning of the segment. We're in the backup section of the year. You know, we're grabbing backups. You know, this is the league winners. You know, so Didi, we're leaving you. We got to move on. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. We're not sorry. Alshon Jeffrey. Are we moving on from Alshon? This pains me too. And it must pain you, Rob.
This is a painful section.
I don't like this question.
I'm sorry. I will ask Greg first, and then we'll check on you. We're gonna check back on Rob because he needs a hug, and we're hoping that he gets one. We're gonna ask Greg how he feels about Alshon.
I've always loved Alshon Jeffrey. His problem, he can't stay healthy for life.
Yeah, that's just his tombstone, right?
Yeah, it should be. It should be.
Terrible.
I'm not kidding.
It sucks. It sucks because he should be a wide receiver 1.
Should. Well, when healthy, like the beginning of the season, first 6 weeks, he did decently well when he was actually playing. 22 points, 12, 11, 23. That's a pretty good outing, you'd say, for your third, your flex, whatever. You're pretty happy with that. But since then, he hasn't done much.
It hurts.
It does hurt. But you look at the end stretch of the season. He plays against Seattle, Miami, New York, Washington, and Dallas.
It's not so nice, but it's all nice, kind of.
So you kind of have a nice, good stretch there of some teams you can play and go, I feel comfortable doing this, so I keep them.
You know what? I'm keeping them, and I hope we made you feel better, Rob, because that made me feel better. That stretch.
Yeah.
If he's healthy,
I turned my lights green for this.
I see you, brother. I think we're holding him. We're holding him.
Most definitely.
And he's got his green on, so he's holding him as well. Cole Beasley, though, he's wide receiver 36. In PPR, you're probably maybe not, because he's kind of like that guy that you're going to use during the bye weeks, and now that they're gone.
In a straight PPR format, I'll hold on to Cole Beasley, but only because he has the ability to give you a safe floor with a nice 5-reception game, and that should be low. But recently, it's been the John Brown show. Dawson Knox is starting to get his, and I love me some Dawson Knox. So if I had to choose between Dawson Knox and Cole Beasley, if it was half point or standard, I'd take Knox. If it's full PPR, I'd probably take Cole Beasley.
So this is a name that's not on the list. It said droppable, but I have a question. Would you, if right now this is one of my 10-team PPR redraft league, Devontae Parker is on waiver wire. If you had Cole Beasley, would you drop him for Devontae Parker?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quick, fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quick lead, fast lead, quickly.
I think it depends on how deep your league is, how deep your roster is. There's a lot of different, one thing I love talking about football, but one thing I hate, it's there's so much context that's missing here we can talk about. Like you said, it's PPR, yeah, I'm keeping him. If it's half PPR, no, trash him. But, if it's a 16 team or 14 team, or you have a deep bench, yada, 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 it's
it matters.
It matters so much. It's hard to say these droppable. It's in this one league I'm in, yeah, he's droppable. In another league, he's not. So it's so difficult to say. But I keep him as a good, what if this player gets injured? Because you're right, he has a safe floor.
Yeah.
All right, so we're holding on to him. Another player we may not be holding on to. I'm a hold because he's in this offense. It's kind of nice. Sammy Watkins. Are we holding on to him? He hasn't been stellar, but he's still seeing targets. And Patty Mahomes hasn't been 100%, I don't think. So are we holding him? I think I am.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. He's like a lizard person, bro. It's not going to happen.
Oh, God. Lizard person.
Rob with all the alien references.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't know.
Wait till I let my hair go. It's good, real nice. It was aliens.
It was the aliens.
Let me get in this perspective. I traded Sammy Watkins in a Dynasty League straight up for Devontae Parker.
Nice.
Wow. That's actually nice.
Yeah.
I mean, but one thing I'll say about Sammy Watkins, he's still, 26 years old?
He's young.
He's a young guy. He does have injury history, but this year he's kind of been healthy for the most part. He missed a couple games, but his quarterback wasn't always healthy. So it's not very, and, I'm just playing devil's ad, just in fairness to him. I don't know. It would have been interesting to see if Patrick Mahomes would have been healthy all year, and Tyreek Hill was healthy all year. They haven't had a full complement. We haven't seen it at all. So I kind of want to hold him, just because it's, if I'm flexing him, he's my last guy.
Yeah. He does get the targets, like you say.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his targets right now. It's more than I thought he was getting.
Yeah, like I said, I said it for a reason. You don't think he's getting the targets. He's like Tyler Boyd. He does not doing much with them, but he's getting them. So we like opportunities.
That's true.
Guys that may or may not have opportunities, I miss him. I miss this guy. He was one of my favorite guys. Shout out to Dirty Jobs, Rob, for this next guy, Austin Hooper. Hooper, he was on him. I was on him. Also, shout out to Anthony from the Fantasy Fam. We did a show, the tight end show. We're going to put together a string of things we were right and wrong on. Transparency show. It's coming up towards the end of the year. And yes, man, Dirty Jobs and Anthony from the Fantasy Fam, they had Austin Hooper, I believe, tight end number 2, I want to say. I had him, I think,
if
tight end number
stayed healthy, they would have had it
4 or something like. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If he would have stayed healthy, he would have had it perfectly. But are you guys dropping him though? He's still the current tight end 2, and I thought he might have had a shot to come back this week. He's not going to.
Yeah. What's the current look forecast for his return?
I have the news right here.
All right.
Give it to us.
Yeah. So from The November 18th, Monday, is from Dan Quinn saying he's trending in the right way. Advice from Yahoo says, should be expected to sideline for about a month. And that was my understanding as well, that MCL sprains are typically about a month of sitting down, not playing. So he should come back for the playoffs. Hooper got you to the playoffs at this point, probably. Mm-hmm. You should keep him.
Absolutely. You know how I feel about that? That's how I feel about that. If you people don't know, I would just crack this soda. That's all I was.
It got me excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to drop Hooper. I don't know, he's been so good for you all year. But Rob, what are your feelings about him?
You gotta hold on to that man like your life, like a wet cat hanging above a river, bro. Like,
I love your references.
You have got to cling for dear life.
Oh man.
And I like the nice visual reference here. So Austin Hooper, like Eric said, like, man, he got you to the playoffs. Like, why you cannot let go when he's going to come back for the playoffs. His first week, I don't know that I would start him, but he should give you everything he's given you up to this point. And it's not like Austin Hooper has been a part of that Atlanta firepower offense. It's been garbage time. It's made Austin Hooper so good this year. And in fantasy, we love garbage time. So give me Austin Hooper, and hopefully the Falcons are behind and they're throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm. I also thought of Deadpool. You're gonna hold on to her tight.
100%. Greg Olsen, though, he's the tight end 9. So, you know, he hasn't been great. He hasn't been terrible for you. But what are our thoughts with Greg Olsen? Are we holding him, dropping him? What are our thoughts, Greg?
He's had a good last couple of weeks. So, in this non-tight end premium, he got 10 and 17 points. 17.8 and 10.7 to be exact. No, because tight ends is such a wasteland.
That's how I feel about it.
Cue the teenage wasteland music. That's great. Love it. But personally, tight ends are so hard to come by, and it sucks because he's, 2 weeks before that, 7-3, and it's like, it's so ugly sometimes. But you gotta take what you can get. Yeah. And tight end 9 on the year, that's not bad. It could be a lot worse. And I'm looking at his, he's had some bad, out 1 week and then had some couple weeks. But beginning of the season he did pretty well. I think that's maybe Cam was in. But when did Cam go out? Second week, or did he ever start?
Yeah, I think it was the second. I know he played this year, but now you got me. Yeah. All my weeks ran together.
Yeah, me too.
He's been gone so long that everyone has literally just forgot about Cam Newton. Yeah. But it was actually, it was the second week where he got injured.
Okay. Well, that second week he got injured, he threw up 17 points, and the following week got 25.5. But since then, not as fantastic, except for this week 10 against Green Bay. You look at his schedule; it's not too shabby. The only really main one you got to kind of worry about is next week is New Orleans. But the rest of it, you got Washington, Atlanta, Seattle, and Indianapolis. That's pretty good playoff spots to be really starting him in. So I'd start him. I keep him.
Why'd you put this in here, Chris? I'm messing with Chris all show, which he probably won't listen to. So it makes it even more fine to poke at him. All right, Gerald Everett, though. He's tight end 13. I think a lot of people were very excited about him. Just kind of as the sneaky tight end, especially in Dynasty, too, just because he is hard. Tight ends are hard to come by. And you were probably able to get him and just pick him up for waivers, or you didn't probably have to do too much, and he was great for you all season. Again, tight end 13, but now, I don't know, he hasn't been as great of late. But I don't know, he feels like one of those guys that you just kind of have to, he's been putting up tight end numbers, like old school tight end numbers, not like what we've been used to lately, like where guys are scoring, averaging 18 points a game, 15 points a game. He's scoring like, it will give you 7, and then he might give you 12, 1. Tight ends do that, right? Tight ends do that. So are we dropping Gerald Everett?
No, I'm not dropping him. But I also, okay, so I don't like to trust the Rams tight ends. Gerald Everett's had a couple up games this year. But the issue that I have is Sean McVay has never featured tight ends in that offense. Jared Goff has never been prone to throw and target tight ends a lot unless there's a lot of injuries. He's thrown to Gerald Everett more this year when he didn't have his full 3 people in the wide receiving core, Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks, and Cooper Kupp, than I've ever seen him throw to any tight end. And people would like to keep Gerald Everett and Tyler Higbee as these relevant players, and I think the most you can expect out of Gerald Everett is he won't lose your week for you. I mean, he should give you some points, but I don't expect him to go off with these 2 touchdown games. I think that's an outlier.
Well, actually, fair, McVay had Jordan Reed in Washington.
That's fair.
So,
as a Rams coach, I guess I should preface that with.
Yeah. Sorry, my dynasty is leaking out of me.
No, it's great. Yeah.
But you look at his playoff run again; it's pretty good. Except for this week, of course, yet again. But 13, 14, 15, he plays against Arizona, Seattle, Dallas.
San Francisco's not great. Yeah, but
no,
those first 2.
Juan Alexander's out, so
that's true. Still not what you
pros there. No,
you're using him those 2 games, week 13 and week 14. I think you can use him, and I'm holding him as well.
Yeah, if you're streaming him, you're streaming tight ends, you're going, I'm going to play the best tight end. I've done that in a lot of different leagues where I go, well, I have crap tight ends. I'm going to pick up 3 around this range tight ends, and I'm going to play them for the best matchup for the week. So I keep them.
And I agree. Yeah. I'm keeping them as well. What about Darren Fells? We got Jordan Thomas that was just activated off of IR. Darren Fells has been like another tight end darling for me. We had a great debates over him. He's currently the tight end 11. He didn't score a touchdown last week, which means that to me he's going to score a touchdown tonight. I don't know if he has yet because I haven't been paying too much to the game. Nope. But I'm betting he's going to get one before the end of the game, and then you guys are probably listening like, you dumbass, you didn't even score a touchdown because you're listening on on Friday. Yeah, so for me, I don't necessarily want to drop him, but I can see if you want to, especially with Jordan Thomas come back. And is it Jordan Atkins as well? I know it's Atkins.
Yep.
They have 2 Jordans.
Yep, Jordan Akins.
Jordan Akins, yeah. So Jordan Thomas and Jordan Akins. What are we doing with Darren Fells? He seems like he's just a touchdown monster. I want to say he's like leading I could be wrong, but if he's not first, tied with somebody, he's second in like touchdowns among tight ends, like with tight ends.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. One thing that Jordan Thomas, I think, is really a blocking tight end. I don't think that he's going to necessarily take targets away from Darren Fells. Thomas is a huge individual.
He is.
He's like 270 pounds, man. He's a behemoth. But Akins has been targeted a little bit in this game early. Now that Deshaun Watson's moving the ball a little better, he did hit Fells on a nice reception. I think they're a good 2 tight end combination. And maybe next year Akins could be viable for kind of the same kind of deal. But no, I'm definitely not dropping Darren Fells. I like his opportunity, and he's a red zone monster. He can get open, catch the ball. He's short-handed, and he's gotten Deshaun Watson's trust throughout the season. So I think he's definitely somebody that not only would I not drop him, but I'd be targeting trying to get him with my entire free agent budget if I had been streaming tight ends.
I like that. That's strong, Rob. And I love hearing that. And for me, I had to do the debates on this guy, so it was fun learning so much about him. A lot of people don't know that he spent most of his career, sports career, because he came in the NFL late. I believe he's about 29, 30 years old. But he came into the NFL late. He spent most of his sports career playing basketball overseas. So he's a basketball guy. And he's, we've seen how the tight end has been targeted as like, oh, you play basketball? Oh, great, we want you. It's weird, but the tight end playing basketball, I felt like I've heard that over and over again. I feel like another Thomas, was it? Who is it? The Denver tight end a couple years back. He was a league winner. He was such a beast. All he did was score touchdowns.
Julius Thomas?
I think so. Yeah, Julius Thomas. Yeah, yep.
Orange Julius.
Yeah, he was such a beast. Another guy that was had basketball in his background. So yeah, maybe that's a thing. But Darren Fells, we're holding on to him as well. That's it for our tight ends. You guys have anybody else? I know you threw in one, Greg. You got anything, Rob? You want to throw in tight end, wide receiver, running back, quarterback?
I got one.
I got a dirty one, and I really am curious to hear what people want to say about this. Juju Smith-Schuster, are you dropping him?
What?
Redraft, obviously. Right.
Yeah, not in Dynasty. I had somebody try and offer me a dirty low offer in a Dynasty league, and I laughed at them and sent them a DM with a middle finger.
Yeah, Juju's a target in Dynasty. Like you,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if you target him heavily, give good amount for him.
But this year, redraft. I mean, are you going to hold on to him and see what he's going to do with the Mason Rudolph experience?
Well, he's not going to play this week.
Not.
He's got Cleveland. He's got Arizona week 14, so maybe you do that. But outside of that, no. He's got Buffalo, and then he's at New York again. Well, the fake New York, because Jets don't really play in New York. They play in East Rutherford. Well, yeah, he's got the Jersey. So I don't know. Yeah, other than that, Arizona, it is dirty.
How many people are actually in a playoff though with Juju Smith-Schuster? You probably drafted him in the first or second round.
You didn't make the playoffs.
I got him in the fourth.
And you're in the playoffs?
You got him in the fourth. Okay, so there you go.
Oh, that's
But still, the early rounds, not a lot of people can afford to give him up is the issue. Like they feel so attached to him because of how much draft capital they spent on him. So he is droppable. Don't get me wrong. I own him in I think one league, and that's Dynasty League. But in redraft, yeah, you gotta drop him, and you got what's the juice? Yeah, break off the skin and come on, people, let's go. It's like unfortunately it's painful, but I think he's droppable. That's I wasn't prepared to.
It kind of mess with your mind a little bit. You're just like, what? Yes, that was a real question, people. These are the questions we're asking ourselves in redraft leagues at this point in the year. We're in week 12. We're already in the thick of it. We're setting our lineups. You've set them already.
What about Sterling Shepard? What are you doing with him?
Well, Sterling's just coming back, so
yeah,
he's a guy. If he's dropped, I'm picking him up probably. I'm probably picking him up, dropping Josh Gordon if I was one that believed in. Oh, I'm gonna pick up Josh Gordon now that he's on Seattle and he's gonna be third fiddle or fourth. I'm doing that. So yeah, I like Sterling. I would drop him. I would have dropped him weeks ago, sure. If I hadn't dropped him this far on, I'm probably going to keep him.
Here's a guy I'm dropping.
You're dropping him?
Philip Dorsett.
Oh, Dorsett?
No,
Dorsett.
No. Sterling I'm keeping.
Dorsett,
Philly.
I haven't dropped Dorsett yet, and I don't know. He's been hard for me to drop, I guess, because I've been a big Dorsett guy, so he's definitely been hard for me to drop. But this is something we can go on and on and on about.
That's true.
In a whole new show, which we might introduce because we got Dynasty Greg here, the mechanic, fixing airplanes and whatnot and helicopters. It's exciting stuff. not helicopters.
How did we gloss over the fact that you also look like Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Oh, how do we
Nobody
do that?
mentioned that, but your beard is so Fitzpatrick-esque. When you asked about Devontae Parker, that's all I could see.
You guys don't have the pleasure of looking at Greg, but when I first looked at him, I got lost in his beautiful red, fluffy, thick. Sorry, I'm getting lost in it again. We got to wrap up the show, guys. This is the Thursday show, Thursday recap of, well, we didn't recover all the shows because we're trying to do something different. We're trying to give you guys something special. Let us know how we're doing these past 2 weeks. And if you like anything that we've been doing, go ahead and drop a couple dollars in our GoFundMe. Not our GoFundMe. It's Rob. It's what we do the show for. This, if you didn't know, we're a charity, Sleeper Wire. We're a 501c3, IRS recognized. We're all about just everything we do here. We're all work for free. None of us get paid. We just do it for great causes. And Rob is one of them. He's our brother. And this is the time of the year. It's a rough time of the year. It's the holidays. If we've helped you guys in any way, if you like the show, please go to GoFundMe.com/RobJR, drop in a couple dollars, or you can go to our Patreon if you like what we do, and you can become a patron. And it's another also way for you to get into a pro-am that we have every year. We have guys like Jake Seeley in it. We have, who do we have? We have Pat Fitzmaurice in that, Justin Boone, you name it, Davis Maddock. Who else do we have in there?
Hateful Eight's in there.
Hateful Eight. It's so many people. It's so much to name. I'm forgetting some good people. You should be in there, and you probably are, but you should get in there next year. Make sure you're there next year. Go to our Patreon, donate a couple dollars this month and next month, and you'll be guaranteed to get in. You'll already be on the list. You can listen to me on, or you can chime in. You can see what I'm doing on Twitter. Prophet Hoos at Twitter, or Sleeper Wire Hoos. I don't even know anymore these days. On Sleeper, Prophet Hoos. And Rob, they can find you at Esorbor, I believe. That is
Esorbor1 on Twitter and Esorbor on the Sleeper app. And that's my name backwards, Rob Rose. That's why you say Esor and then Bor, 2 syllables, because it's 2 words.
And Greg, where can they find you?
At Dino Mechanic on Twitter. That's basically where I'm at.
All right. And you lovely people, you'll have the professor back next week. I'll be handing the reins back over to him. I'll be back talking my shtick on the side. And you guys, when these, it's getting to the time of the year. We're going all the way. It's Sleeper Wire music's playing in the background. I'm getting excited. Man, we're going all the way. We'll see you guys next week. Love you guys. Go win those championships.